Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as the pros have revealed their frustrations about the inconsistencies with aim assist here in Call of Duty Vanguard, Octane has revealed that before their final series of the Major 1 qualifiers against Toronto Ultra, a certain team refused to warm them up. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. The YouTube algorithm loves it as well. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, some issues with ranked play that are being fixed it seems. Ranked play restrictions, intuition, marksman rifles, they're officially out there. Good to see the updates coming through. Clayster even says in the reply to this one, quick update, I'm loving this. The number one issue right now is dashboarding pre-game when they're about to lose to avoid SR loss. Fixed to address disconnect penalties are the number one priority. Of course, this is Lawrence Metten from Treyarch, right? That's the thing. Like, the Sledgehammer guys are just sitting back and relaxing while Treyarch lead the line. And that's kind of why I guess they won't be able to do a game next year because, well, their focus is very much split right now between all the parties. This also from Clayster in the ranked play mode. If you guys run into a Clayster in ranked play that happens to be hacking, then, well, seemingly it's not actually Clayster, as he says. Apparently someone is using my gamer tag and hacking in ranked, which we have the pro player calling cards. I'm pretty sure they added these, not at the start of the year, but maybe towards the end, middle towards the end of the year, maybe around champs or something. They added like pro player calling cards or like player cards that you can use in the game just to show that, yeah, you actually are an official pro player if that's linked to your official account that I guess you play in the CDL, even though I think in the CDL they play on different accounts. So, bit of a strange one, but yeah, still, I guess they might add these at some point or another. They're in Warzone, they're in Cold War, so maybe they'll add them at some point to actually prove that if you are playing against a guy called Clayster that happens to be doing some dodgy stuff, it may not actually be the real Clayster, right? But yeah, we'll see how things go going forwards. Let's dive into this whole aim assist drama then, because it has been talked about the last couple of days. I saw this from Sib actually maybe a couple of days ago. I think he was tweeting about it, and then he says this last night: why does it feel like I have no aim assist in Vanguard? And then he says, haven't felt comfortable on the map in weeks, let alone shoot straight. First time ever for me, by the way. So very interesting really, because Sib at the kickoff classic was a monster. He was dropping 1.4s, 1.3s every single series without exception. Then he comes into the start of the league, basically doing the same thing once again. Now, well, since then it's been somewhat downhill for Sib and the Seattle Surge in general. Like Sib and Pred, both the two star players really off the lineup, both had very poor series in the last couple of matches they played. Accuracy was effectively the star player in one of them, and they had like 0.75s between them, which is a big surprise really, and it was kind of a wonder, like, okay, what's exactly happened to Seattle here? Like, why have they fallen off to this degree? Why are the star players failing to turn up now when they were dominant right at the start of the season? And a team like FaZe, for example, that looked a bit sketchy at the start of the year, has now, well, had the consistency in their star players to power through to a 5-0 scoreline. But seemingly, Sim was actually onto something here. So some people said, okay, it's all mental, but well, Crone actually points out yesterday that Cellium have updated, they kind of, well, they put this out in December, you guys might remember. Aim assist toggles on and off when a player is engaging an enemy with the cold-blooded perk. Now, that seemingly has changed because they've realized it actually might not have anything to do at all with cold-blooded, and now they've just said this: aim assist toggles on and off when the player is engaging an enemy player. Now, of course, this is a massive deal, right? If your aim assist is just sometimes on, sometimes off, creating massive inconsistencies in gunfights, and yet the pros that seem to have felt this really since that maybe the most recent patch updates, and well, as a result, are very frustrated, and understandably so. As Gunless says, my whole team can vouch on this. I said weeks ago I was losing all auto-aim on the newest patch, and that something was wrong. Tried 3 brand new controllers, and still happened. I'm mind-blown, hold the nameless. So, yeah, seemingly, this is well, an issue that Sledgehammer have had in the game. Not really sure if you guys have felt this as well, that sometimes aim assist just straight up disappears. The pros have been like, okay, what's going on? Like, is my controller broken or something? Gunless has been going through a ream of controllers, but apparently it's a software issue within the game itself. Now, look, hopefully they can fix this relatively soon. It is interesting that not more people have mentioned this, honestly, because you would have thought if this was a massive problem, then a lot of people would have been talking about it in the official league matches and stuff like this, but maybe it's something that happens relatively rarely. This also from Slasher: this game is the definition of inconsistent. I'd rather go back to console COD with standard sense only. There's just way too many problems nowadays. Interesting stuff. Now, like, if it was on console, like, would that actually make things better? There was a lot of talk about that with the cheating drama and stuff like this that's gone on the last couple of years. Is it better to go back to console? Like, look, back in the day, you'd choose a sense between 3 and, between 1 and 10, or 1 and 14 as it was then in Black Ops 2, and, well, kind of forward from that, it's gone up to 20 and all this other type of stuff. But, yeah, is Slasher onto something here? Is console COD with standard sensitivity better than this? Not sure it's going to really affect an issue like this, but, I mean, still, some frustrations as a result. And as Gunless says, can't wait to pull up to the $500,000 major and hit a coin flip if I get aim assist or not. Gotta love Call of Duty Vanguard. That's the thing, I wonder how this works. Is it just mid-gunfight, sometimes it toggles on and off, or is it like, sometimes for an entire, like, minute or so you won't get any aim assist? Probably not quite that severe, but, yeah, hopefully these teams are feeling lucky if they want to win these games. And it's kind of well, Zuma replied to Sim initially, it's all mental, and then he says, actually, never mind. There was, they came through from the Sledgehammer guys that actually, yes, the game is broken, like, and yeah, the frustrations as a result. So really strange stuff. Not sure if they they're actually going to be able to fix this in time for the major, because of course the major is coming up very soon indeed. But yeah, I think the pros with some understandable complaints on this front, and yeah, just adds to the more inconsistencies of the game, right? Yes, we are seeing that FaZe are 5-0, Paris are 0-5, as we might well expect, but over the course of individual maps and even series as a whole, like this type of stuff might have an impact if one crucial gunfight goes another person's way because aim assist was lost because the game is just broken. Then well, it's going to certainly potentially cause some frustrations. A storyline to keep your eyes on, no doubt. Let's dive into this whole Los Angeles Thieves versus Ultra stuff then, because they will replay the Toronto Ultra in winners round 1 here at the major. But before going into the series, of course, they had to play them this past weekend. And well, this was the final scoreline, as you guys can see. It was at, well, 250 to 109 on this first map by hardpoint. And there was a lot of surprise about this, really, because Toronto had looked pretty bad a couple of days ago. They lost, of course, to OpTic, got 3-0'd. And it was kind of like, okay, what's going on there? Like, of course, the whole Shotty GA stuff was going on. And there people said, okay, maybe Toronto just kind of within their own heads. And they came out here and dominated Los Angeles Thieves on a pretty good map for them on Bacage, or just at least in general, LA Thieves are really good at hardpoint. So, well, to get almost a 100-point club like this was a bit of a surprise. And people thought, okay, Toronto, they're back in business. They're going to close out the rest of the series. But the rest of the series goes, well, the way of Los Angeles Thieves relatively comfortably on the whole the next 3 maps. It was Tuscan, where LA Thieves, of course, are pretty good. But that's the thing, like, Toronto came out so strong, or Los Angeles Thieves came out so flat, and then they turned it around for the rest of the series once they seemed to warm up. What exactly was the cause of this? Well, seemingly Octane has some ideas on exactly what might have been going on. So I believe there was maybe a tweet that came out about this. I couldn't find it looking through the players' tweets, so maybe it was someone else who actually mentioned it. But before the series went down, they, of course, well, the teams want to warm up, right? Usually they play a scrim set against another team just to get warmed up for their game. Now, of course, they're not going to play against the team they're playing in the matchup because there's well, just going to give them clues on their breakoffs and all these type of ideas. But still, seemingly Los Angeles Thieves were meant to be playing against another team to warm up for this match. And we've seen before that people have discussed, okay, well, if FaZe warm me up, then I'm going to dominate the series or whatever the case might be. But it seems like the team they were meant to be playing bailed out of the scrim, maybe with the intention of letting Toronto Ultra get the best chance they can to win this series, because they might have been helped by Los Angeles Thieves' loss.
What happened during the warm-up scrims versus Toronto? Ooh, nice try, FBI. Ooh. Let's just say a team did not want to warm us up. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. There's a team out there that did not want to warm us up.
Wanted to see us
They motherfuckers wanted to see it. They were grinning their asses off when we got 80 points.
after the first half.
They were sitting there. They were sitting there. Those idiots.
Mission accomplished.
They were grinning, bro. We got 80 points. They said mission accomplished.
So I'm definitely looking for your help in the comment section below to work out which team this might be, as Octane mentions, because he doesn't mention specifics here. But well, these are the matches as they went down in the final week. That's the thing, like, what do you think about this, right, from the other team's perspective? Because if you say you're going to schedule a scrim with LA Thieves, and then you cancel it last minute, just to try and make sure, I guess that's the implication from Octane and Kenny, right, that they weren't warmed up for their series against the Ultra, and therefore that might have been one of the reasons why they lost the map 1 so comfortably. The team that cancelled the scrim might have been like fist pump in the air right after they lost that map 1, but that's certainly the implication. Now, I mean, look, still, who could this have been? Is it like, I don't know, a bit of a scummy move in my opinion, but this is how it was going. So at this point, this was the last series of the Saturday before the Sunday went down. Now, well, there were still things up for grabs at this point. So LA Thieves at this point were 3-1. If they'd have gone 3-2, things could have been very different. Of course, they ended up 4-1, and these were the final standings here, with Ravens just getting above them into second. Now, well, there has been some discussion who actually would have had the incentive to cancel a scrim against LA Thieves here to give themselves the best possible chance. FaZe at this point were already 4-0. I don't really think it would have been them. Some other teams, of course, were fighting for qualification, so you would think really it would be someone around about Los Angeles Thieves in terms of where they were seeded. Now, I don't believe it would have been OpTic just because of like how their situation was going into the Sunday, just because I believe into their final game against Boston Breach, they were pretty much either going to be 4th or 5th, like one or the other, because of the great win against Toronto, it put themselves in a pretty comfortable position. There might have been a world if Los Angeles Thieves got bodied by the Ultra and OpTic like dominated their series, where the 3-2 tiebreakers could have gone the way. And in fairness, it might have actually done here, because as you can see, 13-8, 13-7. Like, if Los Angeles Thieves were 3-2, then OpTic might have actually got the advantage on them here in terms of map count. So maybe there would have been some incentive for OpTic to cancel this scrim. If Los Angeles Thieves did end up losing that series, they could have jumped another seed up. Then again, though, like at the end of the day, the way it worked out, like, would you rather be OpTic here or Los Angeles Thieves? Because Thieves have to play Ultra round 1, and OpTic have to play Surge. And right now, like, it's actually maybe tough to call between those two teams in terms of power rankings. series, but I'd probably just about rather play Surge, like, especially given their relative lack of LAN experience as a team, like, especially in front of the OpTic crowds they're going to play in front of. So once it's worked out here for OpTic, I think it's worked out relatively nicely. And you can also look at London Royal Ravens. They was kind of the other team, like, they were in the mix, right? Because Ravens, like, they could have been potentially warming up Los Angeles Thieves for their game against the Ultra, and they cancelled it, and of course Ravens went on to beat Seattle on the Sunday anyway, and did manage to grab that second seed. And as it worked out for them quite nicely, right, because they play Los Angeles Guerrillas, which theoretically is an easier team to play first round than the Toronto Ultra, because they're kind of the way the seedings work right here for the first round. So Ravens and maybe OpTic might be the prime suspects just because of where they were sitting and like the seeding implications that might have had. It could also have just been someone else that just like out of spite, or maybe like the other team didn't even like, well, they were not thinking in this manner. Like maybe it was a New York Southerners or something that meant a scrim against, and then there was something went wrong internally, I don't know, and they just quit it, and it's actually nothing to do with the seeding. But definitely interested to hear what the internet detectives think about this one, to try and figure out, because I mean, just the way Octane said it seemed like it might be an organization of some gravitas. I didn't really want to say it publicly, but I mean, yeah, I suppose that we will never find out which organization this might be. But still interested to hear your like thoughts on that, well, that kind of, well, prospect in general, right, of just cancelling a scrim set up against a pretty good team to maybe, well, make sure they're not warmed up in the game one. Of course, so, like, this has come back to bite them, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, Los Angeles Thieves still won the series. They still got maybe the preferential seeding at the end of the day, because like a third seed, if they do beat Ultra, is better than a fourth seed, just because, I mean, that seeding gives themselves the advantage in the vetoes, right, when it comes to choosing the control. But yeah, whoever Los Angeles Thieves, well, whoever this was, right, whenever they play Los Angeles Thieves, I'm sure we might see a little bit more about this on the timeline. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tells the YouTube gods this is a good video, and I was like, you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.